We are starting with the audio test on these two phones, Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and Vivo X200 Pro, battle of the best flagship phones in terms of camera performance. Right now, we're also using the portrait video in 4K 30 FPS, so Vivo X200 Pro has triple camera setup with a 200 megapixel telephoto 3.7x, while Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra is boasting the 200 megapixel main sensor, quad camera with 3x and 5x telephoto zoom. Which phone is better in terms of audio performance? We're also testing the audio eraser of Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. I don't know if you can hear the intake on the studio, but here's the quality of the audio eraser on Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. I think that's it for the quick audio and portrait video test. Now let's check some portrait shots. On One X, Galaxy S25 Ultra stronger background blur, the white balance is also neutral and generally natural looking than Vivo, while X200 Pro is a little bit warmer than the competition. You would also see that the colors are more vivid than S25 Ultra. Definitely there's more details on the face on Samsung, and by the way, we have the Chinese variant of Vivo X200 Pro. Some says that the beautification is a little bit aggressive. The new Galaxy S25 Ultra nailed the 2x. You can see the foreground and background blur like a typical proper camera shot. In terms of beautification, you would notice that although there's a lot of details on the shirt on both phones, the faces are almost the same level of smoothing. But like the ultra-wide lens, Vivo X200 Pro has stronger contrast than Galaxy S25. On the portrait zoom, you have two focal lengths on Galaxy S25 Ultra, 3x and 5x. And although you have 5 focal lengths on Vivo's camera app, the native zoom is 3.7x. We also have the 5x digital zoom on Vivo X200 Pro. It's 135mm, like the optical zoom on S25 Ultra. And on the selfie shooter, you have the same level of details, but in terms of noise reduction, Vivo X200 Pro is handling the noise better than S25 Ultra looking at the cap. But you have more details on the jacket on Samsung, and you also have the wide and the crop on the selfie.
And this is what it's all about. Make your way to the dance floor.
This is the video quality test on both phones, Galaxy S25 Ultra and Vivo X200 Pro. We're doing this in 4K 30 FPS, 50 megapixel sensors for both phones, and we're also using an external microphone for audio consistency. Now, this is the main sensor, 50 megapixel on Vivo X200 Pro and 200 megapixel on Galaxy S25 Ultra. Which phone do you think is better in terms of the white balance, the clarity, and details? Now, this is the battle of telephoto zoom. So you got 3x, 10 megapixel on Galaxy S25 Ultra, and you have 3.7x, 200 megapixel sensor on Vivo X200 Pro. Now, this is the battle of 5x zoom, optical zoom on Galaxy S25 Ultra, 50 megapixel. We're using the 200 megapixel sensor on Vivo X200 Pro. This is 5x digital crop. I thought giving the Vivo X200 Pro a shot in terms of the 5x. So this is the video quality on both phones. Which do you think is better? This is the 8K video recording on Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra and Vivo X200 Pro. You got ultra-wide main sensor and 5x on Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, and you got 1x and 2x on Vivo X200 Pro. I think one of the biggest difference on the video resolution is on the portrait video. You got UHD 30 FPS on S25 Ultra and only 1080p 30 FPS on Vivo X200 Pro. On the image quality test, both phones are natural looking. I put Vivo X200 Pro on Zeiss Natural, and in terms of colors, I still feel that the colors on the latest S25 Ultra is toned down, the white balance is cooler, and it also crushes the shadows a little bit. But the outdoor shots, you will hardly notice the difference, and even the sky, I think they're almost the same. It is when you shoot indoors, you would notice that there's more colors and contrast on Vivo X200 Pro. I feel like this is the size, color, profile, or filter.
When you slow it down.
I mean, there's no right or wrong images here, it's just a personal preference. The exposure on Vivo X200 Pro might be a little bit better too. It also affects the colors of the images, making them a little bit brighter. The autofocus and subject separation are outstanding. I mean, it's really hard to judge based from the colors because again, it's a matter of personal choice. But if you want a really good looking images, then either of these two phones will do.
Can you feel my love? Oh,
Both phones starts at 0.6x. They have the same main sensor and different implementation on the telephoto. But in terms of 100 times space zoom, more details on S25 Ultra and cleaner on X200 Pro. In terms of slow motion, both can shoot 4K 120 FPS on the main sensor. The biggest difference is the secondary focal length. You have ultra-wide on S25 Ultra and 3.7x telephoto zoom on Vivo X200 Pro. We are testing the selfie video recording in 4K 60 FPS, the highest resolution on the selfie camera. We're also testing the video stabilization. Now we're switching to the rear cameras. Now we're testing the video stabilization on the rear camera, starting with the ultra wide lens in 4K 30 FPS. Now we're switching to 1x. We're actually shaking the phones a little bit harder for you guys to see the video stabilization. We're doing 2x. This is a digital crop for both phones. And we're going to the telephoto, 3x on S25 Ultra and 3.7x on Vivo X200 Pro. We also have 5x on Galaxy S25 Ultra. And now we're checking the farthest zoom for both phones. We got 20x on S25 Ultra and also 20x on Vivo X200 Pro.
late night feels like I'm all alone.
Both can shoot night portrait mode and I like the Vivo X200 Pro better. I think even in night shot, both phones have the same tendencies. Cooler white balance on S25 Ultra and natural looking, while you have more colors on Vivo X200 Pro and a little bit warmer too.
Stupid, but I could listen to you talk for hours on and on about nothing at all. Got me at every word.
I think on situation where you have enough light, both phones will produce really good night shots.
Call me tonight. Don't need no reason. It's not urgent. Your voice is medicine. Tonight, ease my pain.
It is when you shoot pitch black condition you would notice the big difference. Vivo X200 Pro nailed the night shot, looking at the exposure, clarity, and details. And checking all the sensors, they can shoot night shot from the ultra wide lens down to the telephoto.
When you laugh, lights up the other line. Swapping stories, it's stupid.
We are starting this low light video test using the selfie camera in 4K 30 FPS, Vivo X200 Pro versus Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. On Vivo X200 Pro, we have a 32 megapixel sensor f2.0, while on Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, we have a 12 megapixel f2.2. We're also using an external microphone on these recordings, so you will hear my voice equally. This is the low light video test using the ultra wide lens of both phones in 4K 30 FPS. So Vivo X200 Pro has 50 megapixel ultra wide lens with f2.0, while Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra also has 50 megapixel with f1.9. In terms of exposure and the general quality of the ultra wide sensor, which phone do you think is better? Now we're moving on to the main sensors of both phones. So Vivo X200 Pro has 50 megapixel sensor f1.6, while on Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra you have a 200 megapixel sensor f1.7. In terms of sharpness, white balance, and the overall quality of the low light video, which phone do you think is better? Now we're testing the zoom capabilities of both phones. So 3.7 times on Vivo X200 Pro and you have 3x on Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. Later we will do the 5 times 50 megapixel sensor. So on Vivo X200 Pro you have a 200 megapixel sensor, while 10 megapixel 3 times optical zoom on Galaxy S25 Ultra. Now let's check 5x. Now we're testing the periscope zoom lens of Galaxy S25 Ultra. So 50 megapixel 5x, again, versus the 3.7x, 200 megapixel sensor on Vivo X200 Pro. So in terms of flagship zoom range, which phone do you think is better? Both phones have their own strengths and weaknesses. Vivo X200 Pro is more affordable than S25 Ultra, but in terms of image and video quality, it can compete with the flagship top-of-the-line Samsung and even beating the competition on night shot on pitch black condition. This is the best value camera phone. While if you have money to spare, you will get more out of the S25 Ultra. Of course, you'll have Snapdragon processor and S Pen, even Samsung DeX support if you need great performance and more feature. In terms of camera performance, it has better selfie video, the audio eraser is really good, and it is more color accurate. If money is not an issue, S25 Ultra is the best camera phone out there.